Here's a basic cattle move. We've already got the cattle bunched up together. My dog wants to be independent and go do things. And you see one point here where he just decides, I'm wrong, they need more pressure. Easy, hey, Bear, that'll do, Bear, that'll do. Don't move, don't move. Let's get him a little bit here. Bear, 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 Bear. Out, out, Bear, out, Bear, out. He's like, he thinks he's smarter than I am. So basically, I've got him in front of me. I'm trying to call him out, and he's disputing the command. I'm pretty lenient like that because, I also want my dogs to know what the task is. So he's like, look, I'm comfortable, I got it, but I don't want him to come back. So I just raise the ire in my voice, and then ultimately it gets to a demand, and then they know we're gonna have problems if they don't comply. But I feel like cattle work, especially when you're pressuring from behind, the dog's making decisions, I'm making decisions, and we're working together on it. So then after he decides that he knows better than me how much pressure to provide, which is okay, he didn't cause a train wreck, everything's fine, I'm good with it. If he runs out of control and causes a problem, we're gonna have some issues to deal with. However, he doesn't do that, he makes a fine decision, no reason to fight him. We're in the heat of battle. Yes, I'm the general, but I need the soldiers to be able to fight the war. So anyway, I love it. He does it. He's good with it. If something would have gone wrong, we have the kind of relationship where he would know, and he would be like, "Man, I'm sorry," Or sometimes if he just gets too aggressive and he just goes for it, that's what we need to avoid. If he feels like he's just going to go off on the red zone and not think about anybody else, specifically me, that's not acceptable. If he thinks he can make a little bit of his own decision, clearly he knows what we're doing here. He knows that we're moving cattle. Check that white brush. Good job. Then just after that, he comes back and makes his own decision to circle back around through the white brush, and that is just absolutely what I want to see. I don't need to tell my dog to go look in that clump of white brush where the cattle are just bunched up. And I know, and he knows, that if there's a cow going to hold up or a couple, they'll get in there and they think we're going to pass them on by. But when you got the dog's nose, especially circling through that white brush, there ain't nobody passing by. And that's a big part of what I use the dogs for, is that the cattle, if they feel like being ornery, they will get in that brush and hold up. They'll try to walk around you. They may, you can try to feed them cubes, but sometimes they just don't want to come, especially if they have access to brush. But what is really a problem is if they go nuts and you can't control them at all. But you can see that over here on the left, there's one of these cows, kind of trying to go off to the left and work his way out of the bunch, or her way out. And you see Bear goes over, brings them back together. So if I can keep this dog, the cattle are bunched up, if I can keep this dog behind these cattle, I can very easily ride down in a side-by-side behind them, and I can control the dog from behind. I can steer them to the next gate where I'm going to put them through the gate. You might be asking yourself, well, what about all this other stuff? What other stuff? Okay, so modern cattle work is really moving cattle through gates. Definitely safety is number one concern. I don't want my dogs getting hurt working cattle, and I don't want my cattle hurt. And that can be a challenge. That's why I use lacy dogs. These things are bred to stay alive. Okay, so they're a bay dog, and I'm not ever expecting the dog to go take direct commands and apply direct pressure. It's a command, and then the dog goes and handles it. You can see Bear out here making his own decisions as we move this herd. And we go through a gate, we'll take a break, praise the dog, but that's the objective. So when the cattle move through a gate, there you go. Now, where cattle get worked is inside the final gate into the pens. And you can see here, we're coming up into the short strokes, get the cattle pushed up around the pens. They like to hold up, and so we just put some steady pressure behind them. We don't want to be overly aggressive or cruel about it, but we do need to get the cattle moved in for their own safety, because the cattle need to be vaccinated, dewormed, whatever we're going to do. We just want to get the cattle in the pens, and then it's a good dog, and the dog gets put away. We do a bit of training in the pens, and we do use dogs a little bit in the pens because I have a very large catch pen. But once we get to our small pens, our final small pens, it's just me and maybe one other hand with my paddle. Dogs are put up, close the pens, and then I'm coming back up here in the air conditioning, making videos for you. Thanks for tuning in.